Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, assalamu alaikum. Al-Imam Ahmad was asked, advise us. The people came to him, being a scholar of his generation, with knowledge and wisdom. They said, give us some advice. So he said, don't do anything unless you have an intention attached to the action. Don't do anything unless you have the intention of doing it for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal and hoping for his reward. And he wrote to his son an advice and he said, Ya bunay inwil khair. My son, have good intentions. And this is because anything that you do which is mubah, with the correct intention can be rewarded. And the scholars of usul have a qaida which states, al-mubahat tanqalibu ibadat bin niyat as-salihat. That mubah actions with the correct intention can be rewarded. So this is you're coming, you're going, you're eating, you're drinking, you're sleeping, you're going to work. All these mubah acts, if you have the correct intention behind them, you will be rewarded for it, bi'idhnillah. Eating and drinking, you're doing it for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, to give rights to your body and to be able to fulfill the rights of your family. And you're doing it on the hay'ah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam by eating only halal and eating with your right hand and sitting when you eat and drink and saying Bismillah and only eating that in front of you and not eating your fill to your full and you can't breathe. Yeah, even the morsel of food that you feed to your wife, if you're sitting with your wife and you pick up some food and you feed her with your own hands, yes, it's very romantic, but you will also be rewarded for it, inshallah. عن سعد بن أبي وقاص قال عليه الصلاة والسلام إنك لن تنفق نفقة تبتغي بها وجه الله إلا أجرت بها حتى في اللقمة ترفعها إلى في امرأتك. That there is no good action that you do for the sake of Allah, and this is the condition, تبتغي بها وجه الله إلا أجرت بها, except that you will be rewarded for it. Even in the morsel of food that you place in your wife's mouth. So not only are you earning brownie points with your wife, you're also earning rewards from Allah Azza wa Jal. And we'll take it another step. Sleeping with your wife, intercourse with your wife is also a sadaqah. عن أبي ذر قال عليه الصلاة والسلام وفي بضع أحدكم صدقة. And in the private parts of your wives is a sadaqah. قالوا يا رسول الله أيأتي أحدنا شهوته ويكون له فيها أجر. One of us, Ya Rasulullah, we get our desires and we fulfill our desires and we're also rewarded for it. قال أرأيتم لو وضعها في الحرام أكان عليه فيه وزر. Do you not say that if he placed it in haram, he would be sin for it? فكذلك إذا وضعها في الحلال كان له أجر. And this hadith is in Sahih Muslim. The superiority of the intention is so great that Al-Imam al-Bukhari decided to open and start his whole collection with the hadith of Umar radiyallahu anhu, and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam قال إنما الأعمال بالنيات وإنما لكل امرئ ما نوى. Al-Hadith, we know this hadith very well. Verily, the actions are by their intentions in Sahih al-Bukhari. The intention of having the intention is so superior that the scholars open their books and you read, majority of them begin their writings with the hadith, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. The superiority of having a correct intention is so great that you can be rewarded for an action and you never even done that action. فعن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فيما يرويه عن ربه تبارك وتعالى. So this is a hadith قدسي. قال إن الله كتب الحسنات والسيئات ثم بين ذلك فمن هم بحسنة فلم يعملها كتبها الله عنده حسنة كاملة. That Allah Azza wa Jal said that He has written the good deeds and the evil deeds and He has made it clear, and He said whoever intends to do a good deed, so the intention, and does not do it, Allah Azza wa Jal will record it for him as one good deed. Rawahu al-Bukhari wa Muslim. Say, for example, you are regular in doing certain acts. You fast on certain days. You help out at a masjid. You help a brother or sister for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal on certain days. whatever you do, some good act that you constantly do. Then all of a sudden you're unable to do it. You fell sick or you had to travel. Something prevented you from doing it. Allah Azza wa Jal will record for you those good deeds as though you were doing it, so long as that cause, that prevention is still present. عن أبي موسى قال عليه الصلاة والسلام إذا مرض العبد أو سافر كتب له من العمل ما كان يعمله وهو صحيح مقيم. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and this is hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari, if the slave of Allah falls sick or has to travel, then Allah Azza wa Jal will record for him all those good deeds he done as though he was at home and he was healthy. Say for example, you make wudu and you go to the masjid. You make wudu and you go to the masjid and you want to pray in jama'ah. And you go there and you find the people are walking out. You've just missed the salah. You will be rewarded for that salah as if you were there and present. Can you believe that? For the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, عن أبي هريرة قال عليه الصلاة والسلام من توضأ فأحسن وضوءه ثم خرج إلى المسجد فوجد الناس قد صلوا أعطاه الله مثل أجر من صلى وحضر لا ينقص ذلك من أجره شيئا. وفي سنن أبو داود والترمذي. That if someone makes wudu and perfects his wudu and goes to the masjid and finds that the people have already prayed, Allah Azza wa Jal will grant him the reward as those who were present and prayed. No reward will be deducted from him. وعن أنس رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن بالمدينة أقواما ما سرتم مسيرا ولا قطعتم واديا إلا كانوا معكم وفي رواية إلا شاركوكم في الأجر قالوا يا رسول الله وهم بالمدينة قال وهم بالمدينة حبسهم العذر. When the Prophet ﷺ and the Sahaba were returning from the Battle of Tabuk and they became near to Al-Madinah, he turned and he addressed the Sahaba and he said, there are people in Medina. There was no portion of this journey, nor valley that you had crossed, except that they were with you. And in another narration, that they shared with you the rewards. They said, Ya Rasulullah, while they were in Medina, he said, while they were in Medina, they were trapped because of a reason. They were prevented due to a reason. These were the poor people of Medina. They had no horses or camels or mules. They had no body armor. They had no weaponry, no swords, no spears, no bow and arrow. They had nothing. And they would go back and forth. They'd go to the Rasul and see if he had anything for them. And they would go and ask other people if they would let them borrow some of their weaponry just so they could attend this battle. And they had nothing. And unfortunately, they were unable to attend. But the Prophet ﷺ said they shared with them in their rewards. Look at the intention, how important the intention is. He's getting the intention of a mujahid fi sabilillah and he's sitting at home in Al-Madinah. And I'll give you a better one. عن سهل بن حنيف قال عليه الصلاة والسلام من سأل الله الشهادة بصدق بلغه الله منازل الشهداء وإن مات على فراشه. رواه مسلم. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever asks Allah with sincerity for martyrdom in his cause, for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, Allah will grant him the status of a shaheed even if he dies on his deathbed, even if he dies on his bed. So we should take the advice of Imam Ahmad and consciously attach a good intention to everything that we do, doing it for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal and hoping for his reward. هذا والله أعلم وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد.